All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the pod. We have a new name for our podcast. We've been at this for a while, and we took a long break, but we are back. We are now the Dad and Roll podcast.
hmm We
Ali, how you doing, my man?
good. We came up with that ourselves, not Chat GPT. Chat GPT did not help us with that one.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded one of these, man. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. It's crazy because I don't even think we talked to each other for like 3 or 4 years, right? Just live thing, not in the same city, anything like that. And then I hit you up for the playoffs because like I need to talk to Michael about that. I think I seen BJ Edgecombe go off, and I didn't see enough people talking about him. So I was like, I got to hit up someone that I know I could talk ball with. And now that was like what, a month ago.
Something like that. Right around a month ago.
Now we've been texting so much. We was like, we might as well just talk about the do the little podcast thing again, talk some ball.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. It's so crazy because like after we were both in San Jose and then I moved down to LA and I didn't really have like anyone down here. Like I don't really be making any friends like that anyway. It was already COVID too. So like I didn't have anyone where I that was like really into like X's and O's in basketball that I could just talk to like consistently. And then now that we're back doing this, it's been a lot of fun just like texting back and forth with you about the games that we've been watching. So
Yeah.
no, yeah, this has been nice.
Also, I want to put like, cause you hear the whole, and people just naturally, everyone, the mass will always like complain about stuff, But I think the NBA is in a really good place right now, and I know it hasn't been a narrative, and I didn't think that too a couple years ago because it really turned into the regular season, and what I mean, no defense being played, and me being like, you played with me. I couldn't shoot that well. I was a defensive guy, so I love defense. And just even the coaching aspect on, I love defense. But and the whole tanking. I know the tanking stuff was crazy this year, but
Yeah.
I think this playoffs have been great. Like I think it's been physical basketball, a lot of game sevens. I think the refs have let them play a lot. Obviously, the whole OKC narrative, and I think the refs let them play that last series. And I think it's been. I mean, obviously, you got New York basketball in the finals, Knicks, and you see how crazy that's the craziest sports environment in the world. Uh, and then you got the Spurs and Wemby and a guy that probably bigger than even Braun was when he first came, just because of how you never seen someone just like Wemby, right, and what he does. So it's a great matchup for the finals too.
No, yeah, it's kind of difficult to compare like LeBron and Wemby when they're coming in just like the media and like uh there was like only so many different places that you could get like your sports news from. And like now, I mean, you can like social media kind of dictates what really like blows up. And I mean either way, like they were both huge when they came into the league, like with all the attention. But
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely get you there. um yeah, so man, we are recording this. It is June 7th. Tomorrow is game three. Spurs down 2-0 to the Knicks. The Knicks, we'll start right here. The Knicks have just been an absolute machine pretty much this entire playoff run. Uh, Aside from two games where CJ McCollum kind of took their hearts, and it was looking kind of bad for a second. But ever since then, the Knicks have just been an absolute machine. Go ahead.
I gotta interrupt. Uh, that was, and it's so weird how we got here because I remember telling people like and just thinking like that is terrible. Like how are you down 2-1? Like because the Knicks are always I don't think everyone, I think that's what makes this finals run even better. Like we always talk about the Knicks as it's our the main guys, the ESPN, NBA reporters, all that. Like you whenever you talk about contenders in the East, the last 3 years you talk about the Knicks, right? Like you talk about it and it's always like, yeah, they can have a finals run, but no one really believes it. I feel like, right? And they've kind of validated that because they've had some losses in the playoffs, so they just never felt. And then when they went down 2-1 to the Hawks, to like again, like Hawks are good, good for them. You know what I mean? Like trading Trey Young, Quinn Snyder's still coaching his ass off. They're young. They play the game the right way. All that stuff. But how the like CJ McCollum is going off in the Garden to beat you in the play? Like I'm sitting there going like, oh, this is like just get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like the Knicks are doing this shit again. They're not for reals. Cat is soft. Brunson is a small guard. Mike Brown is
Mikal Bridges wasn't shooting.
yeah. Mikal Bridges can't go to the rim and make a layup. All that stuff, and to get and then for that switch to get flipped like it did, shit. That's you gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit for that, man. Because it looked like the writing was on the wall. Because that Hawks team, like they should like they've done to the Sixers, like they did. They should have 4-0'd them. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I said, the Hawks team is going in the right direction, but their best scorer is C.J. McCollum. And no disrespect to McCollum, but how old is he now? He's close to. He's got to be 35.
I'm gonna look this up real quick. You can go ahead and keep going though.
But yeah, like McCollum, how like he's basically
34 years old.
34. He's a front office executive now. Like the CBA stuff, like players, dude. He's still playing. He's just bouncing from team to team, still giving good minutes, still ball. But like it's crazy how fast it turns. I mean, and I think it shows, like all that talk and what like you gotta give Mike Brown a lot of credit. And when we first started texting, you had said something too. I talked about like, man, look at Jordan Clarkson. Like you got that dude went from being no defense, just chuck it to just you gotta give him again. He's was like, okay, if I'm gonna stay in the league, I'm gonna play defense. I'm a, I have to change my whole identity. I've got to be a hustle dude. And he's not getting any minutes now, but he filled out a good spot for himself. Knicks. And then you kind of made the even better point. Yeah, you got to give Mike Brown a lot of credit. To be able to go to a player like that and get him to flip his identity and buy in. And I think to see them flip the switch, go down 2-1, and for this to be a whole nother year of everyone hates Cat and Cat is soft and Cat is this, which I think those criticisms deserved. I think Cat's put himself in those positions at times, just how he acts or how he's reacted to things. But for them to stay together, like I really would love to know how they flipped the switch. Like if it was it really a team meeting that or what was that change? Because since Game 6 against the Hawks, I mean shit, right? Like how a team's never won 16. Their team's never won 16-0, right? The Lakers went close and the Warriors came close, correct?
Yeah. I don't think any team has gone four straight series, four straight sweeps. And also, especially since they moved the first round series. I can't remember when this was, either like late 90s, early 2000. I can't remember exactly when they moved that the first round from 5 games to 7 games as well. Especially ever since then, no way, no.
So this last game 2 win, how many straight was that for the Knicks?
That was, I believe, it was 13 straight wins for the Knicks.
They would go 15-0. Like they would have a 15-0 run, right? 15 straight, which is one off from doing something that no one ever. I know they lost, but going 16 in a row, the playoffs. So for them to do that, yeah, I think the number one guy you gotta give credit to, like Mike Brown, like how you keep that team together, how you just the Knicks couldn't get over the hump. It's just what they were, right? And I don't know, were you feeling the same way I was when they went down 2-1 to the Hawks?
I don't think I was as low on the Knicks, but I was still definitely like, I think it was very reasonable for what we were seeing at the moment. Like the Knicks just were not playing all that well, and we're getting into close games, and especially a team like the Knicks where late games is just Jalen Brunson hitting clutch shots consistently. Yeah. Did he win a clutch player of the year this year? I can't remember if
did it. He should have, because I hear everyone talking. Yeah, like
there we go. But yeah, like the Knicks have consistently been a good team in the clutch, and here is CJ McCollum taking out their hearts 2 games in a row. And I mean, I think it was very fair for all of us to be very concerned about the Knicks at that moment. And I mean, and they were concerned themselves. They had to have a team meeting where they were really like looking at each other and saying like, "Yo, do we really want this?"
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I just want, because I think you put in perspective like you should be low, but you weren't as low as I am. And I'm trying to say like I thought they were done for it because what's the better team, the Suns or the Hawks?
Ooh, this year, ooh, I'd probably say, ooh. I mean, we're we're splitting hairs here, but I'd probably say the Suns a little bit.
Yeah, I mean you have Devin Booker, right? Like your
Yeah,
best player is Devin. Even if they're right away, you have Devin Booker, and then the Hawks have C.J. McCollum, and then your second best player, I don't know, you could say is Dylan Brooks, and I know Dylan Brooks has his flaws on, but he's been in the playoffs, he's been in big games, right? He plays both sides of the ball, both sides of the court. Who's the Hawks' second best player? Jalen Johnson, right? Hasn't
Jalen Johnson has been good this year. Yeah,
But he was terrible in the playoffs. Like he was a guy again. So the Hawks were the worst team in the playoffs, right? Like the Suns were the team in the West, and I think they were the worst team in the West. And then the Hawks were sixth, I believe, sixth or fifth, sixth, I believe.
sixth.
Okay,
Yeah, because the Pistons were first seed, Boston was second seed, and then the Knicks. Yeah,
Sixers who were seven are better than the Hawks. Like just from a playoff standpoint, you have Joe Maxey, Paul George that's better than McCollum. Again, I keep trying to. McCollum's a good basketball player, but he's not. He can't be a number one option on a playoff team, right? Like, or they're the worst team in the playoffs. And then the Magic, who we'll talk about later, like very inconsistent, very up and down. But there is a lot of people that picked the Magic to be a top five team in the East for sure, right? Like they didn't play as well. And then the Magic went and took the Pistons to 7 games. So the Hawks were the worst team in the playoffs. And you went down 2-1 to them, and you lost at home, and you like you said, losing close games. So it's really cool to see us run. I think it's even made it even more special, even though it's always going to be special because New York. But how they flipped that switch and they've gone so good. So I know you want to give him some credit because we talked about how it seems like there's been more criticism on the Spurs than credit on the Knicks. So what specifically do you think the Knicks have done so great? This I guess this start to finals.
yeah. Really, I think the main thing is to kind of put it in perspective. I feel like they have that feel of a team full of seniors in like the NCAA, in like March Madness, where like they've all played together for a long time. They know all their spots. They know where everybody's going to be when the defense does this. They know how to counter it right away. It just feels like they're all on a string. It just feels like they're all like pieces on a chessboard, and they're all just working together so well. Jalen Brunson hasn't even really shot the ball all that well. Literally everybody else, I think, pretty much everybody else that's playing is shooting above 50% from the field. Mikal Bridges, it feels like every time it's like a swing, and he gets the ball open on the wing. I think I've maybe seen him miss one or two of those shots in the first 2 games. Landry Shamet has come in and has been hitting big time shots
Yeah.
throughout the series. Even Deuce McBride has been coming in and hitting tough pull up jumpers in the mid range. It's been so impressive to me how the Knicks have been able to play against a team like the Spurs who rotate really well, and yet after the Spurs have played, let's say 23 and a half seconds of good defense, it's that last half second where they find the open man and they end up hitting that shot. And I think it really all starts with how well Cat has been playing in these finals. He's been probably him and Jokic are probably the worst matchups for Wemby, just in terms of Cat is able to, since you have to respect the shot from deep, he's able to pump fake, drive. The first step is quick enough, especially for a center, is quick enough to get that shoulder past Wemby and get downhill. And after since Cat is like a strong dude, once he gets that shoulder past him and is driving downhill, even for Wemby, it's really tough to affect that shot. He blocked one of those, but consistently, Cat has been able to blow by him and finish at the rim despite Wemby's talent. And did you have something to say on that?
Obviously, like to start game one, Cat went right at him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And shocked all of us. Like that first shot, he went right and he just went past him. And again, credit for him, man. I think this is a big moment for him as a basketball player because I like a lot of people. There's something about Cat that just like rubs me the wrong way. I think again, you can't sit there and say that dude isn't a really good basketball player. Great, because the numbers back it up. Like he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory, right? Like if you look at numbers wise, and especially now he's been to the finals. Was it 3 years in a row now? I think he's been to the finals, right? Because he went with the Timberwolves. I think,
The conference finals.
yeah, conference finals. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean he's winning games. It's not like he's putting up empty stats. He's always been decent defensively. I think he just doesn't look the part or act the part, and people don't give him. But he's been great this run. Like he's been great this run in the first two games in the final. So you gotta give Cat just saying, "Hey man, I'm gonna go at this dude. Like I'm gonna show people, no, I'm not this soft. Like no, I'm gonna go win the finals." But don't like, what is the point of Wemby being so up on him? And I think that's Wemby, like you said, just a matchup finally getting to him, because I think it's some cockiness you can say, but it's valid. Like, who is this guy not be able to press up on and then not be able to recover with? He has this ability. But you're right about the shot. But to me, there was a couple times again, even to start game one, like pump fake. Wemby's kind of there. He kind of jumps, but he doesn't have to. And then Cat goes into triple threat or whatever, just the basketball position. And then Wemby wants to press up on him almost body to body now. And I sit there and go, again, you are probably going to go down as the greatest defensive player of all time. Like that might already be sealed. You know what we've seen with Wemby, as long as he can play multiple years. But you can be off a little bit, and with your arm, you're affecting any shot. So he already closes out, and so to me, it's a little cockiness because he doesn't have to. And like you said, Cat just rips through. He's strong enough, and then that's the difference. Like his shoulder gets past you. It's not a 6'4" guard where you're still gonna get over top. Like he can body you up now and finish. So what do you think? Do you think? Am I being a little too much? Or you feel like Wemby does have to respect it, or do you think they got to back off from that some, and he's got to understand I'm 7'5". My closeouts don't have to be that close. Also, because I rather still have Cat shoot a three. Obviously, big moments you're running someone off the line, but I'd rather have Cat shoot a three because he's shown he's gonna get to the rim on me and be able to score.
I would totally agree. Especially, yeah, you hit it right on the head. With his length, there's no reason to be that close to Cat when he's behind the 3 point line. Cat every single time, well, all Cat is doing when he's pump faking is he's just reading you.
Yeah,
If you're staying back and not respecting the shot, he's gonna shoot it. If he pumps and he sees you, you don't even have to jump. As even if you just come up a little bit, he's gonna pump and rip and go. So I think Wemby has to be cognizant of that and make sure, okay, I don't have to get right up on him as long as I use my length and contest the shot up top. Like all you have to do, I believe, is what you're taught at a young age is when you're contesting, try to have your hand above the shooter's hand,
hmm
so that you affect the arc of the shot. Wemby should be able to do that pretty easily.
he
He
doesn't.
doesn't even really have to jump to do that exactly. So
His head
I
makes his head makes.
exactly, yeah. So for him being able to make sure that he's not contesting too hard, just a good solid contest up top, but staying solid, I think that's all he really has to do. And also, I mean, Wemby, he just wants it so bad. I
Yeah,
think in those moments, it may just be he may just be a little too amped up and like, oh, I got to get this shot, and he's just playing right into Cat's hands at that point.
yeah. I mean, that point. I think that's also like maybe you're right. I think it's probably less cockiness about I could defend everybody and more what you said. Like if there's anything that is a con of Wemby's game, and for him to do what he's done already, right, is remarkable and get this team to the finals at such a young age, and all that first playoff run. But some it's everyone wants it, but you can't let that affect like in moments that you saw game two how it did it all over the place. You know what I mean? Like he's a composed he like the Spurs have this weird thing where they play so free and so as a young team, and they just don't give a shit. Like they're in your fucking face. Vassell is swatting people and getting like they're punking Holmgren. They're trying to punk home. They were trying to punk SGA. Like they don't give a shit, which is great in a young team. But usually that falls over to recklessness. and somehow with them it hasn't. But like even with Wemby, like it's not like he's again cocky, or it's not like he's too emotional where he's ends up taunting people or getting his teammates face. But like you say, it's almost like he wants it too bad. He can't control that. Like sometimes you gotta understand I'm gonna make a mistake, or they get like, and there's, I think like you said, the Knicks experience, after you go through those playoff runs, you understand you're gonna have a bad half. Are you gonna make mistakes? Are
Yeah.
you gonna have turnovers? Your teammates gonna do something dumb. And I think you saw that game one, like they were down 14-15, and they just stayed with it. Like they didn't overreact. They weren't getting mad. They weren't, type of where the Spurs, you finally see the youth. Like it was supposed to pop up last series. Like
Yeah.
it was supposed to happen last series. And they're just that good enough where it didn't. But now you see that kind of happening. But one thing I want to say, like the main thing I want to say, and it kind of takes into even just talking about this player more than the series. And I know a lot of people have probably talked about it because a lot of people probably see it the other way, which I understand because of the numbers. And I was going to go into a whole thing about trying to defend it, but I'm just going to kind of because we already got into, we're already talking and moving about it. Like, uh, Cat has been amazing. I know the numbers suck. I know his percentage is fucking terrible. I know he has turnovers, but eye test wise, and the truth is, like, it's 4 games now. You just got to go win 4 games, however you make it. Jalen Brunson has been the best player in this series, and I know that might be hard. But I know I saw people saying he was a Finals MVP favorite, or just at least on the betting sites. And but sometimes that doesn't add up, especially with these prediction stuff. But that's a whole other thing. But like it's like the Kobe thing. Like Kobe's numbers at times were trash. Like if Kobe's you looked up advanced analytics stuff, and I know as a Lakers fan, I'm not trying to, but if you look like if he played when the analytics was, there's a lot of guys that would sit there and tell you, well, look at Kobe. I mean, he's a detriment to the team almost. Well, maybe not with Kobe because I mean he made it happen, but right there was just you look at the numbers and Kobe had big games where he shot 40%, sub 40%. But then you look, guys, just the eye test. Did you not see Kobe just win that game? Like Kobe Bryant. And I think that's really Brunson because that game one, obviously, but not just that, like all the plays he's making. I think it should go down if they end up winning the series as one of the best plays in our top 5 in Knicks history. Like when it was going back, that game one is going back and forth, back and forth. No one can like Brunson went on his run to tie it, and then no one could score for a little bit. And then Brunson beats whoever he beats off the dribble, which against the Spurs, I mean, we saw SGA try to do it in 7 games and have problems with it. Obviously, the help and how they load it, but he beats whoever he beats off the dribble, kicks it out for a 3. Everyone collapses, misses the 3, ball goes in the air, and you know what I'm talking about. And the
Hmm.
Spurs, which are the I didn't think I was gonna see a team outwork OKC. Like outwork, out hustle, out grit, get more loose balls in OKC. And they did that all series. So Devin Vassell's going up for the ball. This guy that's been, they just won a series against they outwork one of the grittiest teams of all time. Uh and fucking Brunson, who is 6 inches short or something, jumps up and like Super Mario punches the ball, right?
Yeah. So here I can kind of go through exactly what happened on that possession for you.
Yeah.
So it's with about 2 minutes left in the fourth. The Spurs had just taken a 1 point lead off of I believe it was a Wemby and one. And then so yeah, as you said, Brunson drives, he kicks it to OG, and OG misses a pretty good look
Yeah,
from
yeah.
deep. This was after the Spurs were already in rotation, and when you're in rotation, it's so tough to find your man and box him out. So yeah, Brunson had just made that pass. It was a swing, and then OG took that shot, and then the Spurs were in rotation. They couldn't box out. Brunson ends up being the one to tap it back out, relocates right away
Yeah.
to hit the corner 3 after the game was really up for grabs. It was pretty much 50-50 at that point.
Let
And
me
then that big shot.
let me
Go
jump
ahead.
in back because you made a good point. They scrambled, and that's when you get offensive rotations, which Brunson created right by breaking it down. Because I got to keep this Brunson narrative because I'm saying, watch, I'm gonna get into this other thing. But it's harder to box up. Michael, ain't no one boxing out Jalen Brunson no matter what. Like, uh,
Yeah.
John probably says, uh, if ball goes up and you're supposed to box out Brunson, just go to the rim. Just go
Yeah.
box out Cash something else. And it wasn't like the ball was right to him. It was, but Vassell had the track. That should have been Vassell's ball. And then Brunson just making a play and going up. And again, it wasn't like he did that against like who's the play like the Lakers. It wasn't Doncic, Braun, Reeves, all those guys but they get lazy at times. They make those mistakes at times. Like he went up got against Vassell, who is making all these hustle plays, great rebounder, and then relocates and hit the three. So my point is, it's not just the scoring barrage. He's making those type of plays. Like he is finding ways for them to win the game. And then game two, I think they went down. Right, Spurs came back. This young team just keeps finding a way to come back, and then it was good defense. I want to say it was Fox. He drives. Fox cuts him off, but Brunson still gets in the paint mid range. That's what he does. He takes the bump. He spins. He always does that. Okay, but again, we talk about Spurs are such a great help defensive team and rotation team. Like they're amazing. And Champagny comes over, and Champagny obviously taller than Brunson, does a good job giving his length. No foul. It's the end of game two. Legs are shot. Knicks are going. Knicks just gave up this lead. The ball goes off his hands, floating away. Champagne. I'm like, oh, that's a bad miss. Like even Brunson, everything about that game right there. That's a bad miss. It's going air ball. I thought it was an air ball. It's going to hit the front rim. That shit was pure. He knocked it down and tied the game.
Nothing
And
but the bottom of the net. Yep.
I looked there, and my next thing is like small guards aren't supposed to be able to get that far and do it there. Or even if you get to the finals, that's the whole thing, right? Like it kind of, if you look at who wins championships, it almost comes back to, well, this is a game for tall people, you know what I mean, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like who's done it recently? Curry, obviously, but Curry is different. Like Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. Like Curry revolutionized the game, and if you watch those first playoff runs, there were still times where guys wouldn't close out at him in certain things because you still just weren't used to just him hitting stuff. So Curry's done it, but Curry is an anomaly. Like the game was different for him how he had to play. Uh, and then you sit there and go, Kyrie. Okay, Kyrie's amazing. Kyrie hit that big shot. Kyrie had moments in the playoffs where he was better than Braun game by game. Where LeBron was the best player on that team. Like it's just it's the truth. LeBron was the best player of that team, especially when you start bringing in defense, rebounding, all those things. So, like, if Knicks gonna win this series, and Brunson, I don't care if he still shoots those numbers, but if he continuously makes those plays and those bumps, and at least doesn't shoot him out of the game or turn over the game before that, like even if Cat does what he's doing, Jalen Brunson has been the best player on this Knicks team the last since he got there, and for this player. So where do you think of Jalen Brunson as a top 5 guy in the league?
No, no,
No,
not at
exactly.
all.
Right. Do you think of Brunson as a top 10 guy in the league?
I think he's starting to scratch like that.
Yeah,
That
that's
that especially if he wins Finals MVP.
yeah, when he hit that ball on the relocate, I was like, dude, this dude is doing everything. Like, he, how can we not, if they win, make him a top 5 player in the league? And I guess that's my thing. And I'm not even a big Brunson dude, because like I said, I sit there and go, oh, here comes these Knicks again. They're like, they're contenders, but come on. I mean, that falls on Brunson some too. It's more New York basketball and what Knicks have been through, but that falls on because he's the best player on the team. Like, so you're thinking about Brunson like that too. And not only as we look at here, if he wins, he would be the first small guard to really do it playing like a small guard in a long, like I don't know, you're better at that history stuff than me. You like okay, you could Tony Parker, but again, that dunk
Yeah.
on knew that was such a team. A Kawhi came in for the last ones, and you could say Kawhi was the best player. So Parker, I guess, could be the guy, but like, so I start going there. I just feel that's my biggest thing so far. It's not even about the series that much. It's like I think we got to start putting a lot more respect. I think people are respecting, but he has to be a top 10 player in the league. And then if you go be the best player on the team and go win a finals, and then you're hitting these shots like you're hitting, or you're making these plays like you're making, I think we logically at some point we got to sit there and go, well, you're a top 5 guy in the league, you're a top 3 guy in the league. MVP is a regular season award, so it doesn't take away from them. Were you the best player in the league? This whole year, how do we not sit there and say? Because again, it's not like he's the best player and then OG is hitting the 3 to go up, or he's the best player. And like I said, he kicks it out to Cat, and Cat hits the go ahead three, or Shane Battier, or you know what I mean, Danny Green. Like
Yeah.
he is hitting all the game winning shots right now. I know other guys, obviously it's a team effort, other guys, but so that's my biggest thing, bro. Like if Brunson wins, it's like how does this go down in history? And then if Brunson continues to play at this level, where do we look at Brunson overall? Just like when it comes to the game.
Ooh, I that's a great question. I haven't thought about it that deeply, man. Especially for this Knicks team who hasn't won a finals in what is it like pretty much 50 years.
Yeah.
Especially for a Knicks team that it's just been so long and they went through some really tough years, especially like what mid 2000s after Carmelo left, like just that entire time, man. I would have to do a little more research on just that historical context, but yeah, it's I don't want to be too negative right now, just because it's especially today, like it's just really tough for a guy that big to be better than like a Luca, Giannis, Jokic, like
But how
that.
is it not? I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm
That's what you're saying, yeah.
I agreed with you, and not just because how big, just watching him play. I agreed with you to what he's done. Like not even getting to the finals made me feel like, oh, we got to start talking about Brunson in top 10 because guys have those type of run. Guys have it's year to year. Guys got to the finals. They're great players, but they're not that good. But Brunson is hitting game winning shot after game winning shot. So like I just and then again beating guys to rebounds, and then he's a small guard doing it. Like this
Yeah.
is I don't know. I'm a big Brunson guy, man. Now, like and I think we gotta like, can this guy go down as a top 5 to 10 point guard of all time? And I get what you're saying because you watch him play, and is he a real point guard? With Luca, he didn't even have the ball in his hands a lot, right? Like when people first started seeing Brunson, he was an off the ball guy and all that stuff. But at some point, like who cares about his playing style if the it's about, are you making the positive, are you, how much do you impact your team winning, like are you winning games, how much do you impact your team winning and all that. And I just, if he wins the finals, and uh a crazy run. And then also this team, yeah, the Spurs are young, so that's something you could sit there and go. Anyone that doesn't like the Knicks or doesn't like Cat or doesn't like Brunson, we all have our narrative. That's the first thing they're gonna bring up. Well, this team was look how young they are. That's true, but this team is so good defensively. Like this team is not like Wemby. They're so great defensively. They don't even need good on-ball defenders, and they'd be above average just when you have Wemby on the floor, right? Like everything he can do. And then Castle defends his ass off. De'Aaron Fox, who I know he's getting a lot of slack for not scoring, I actually think he's done a good job defending uh, all series. I didn't know Dylan Harper could defend on the ball like that. Even though he gets young and he gambles a lot, he can defend on the ball. Vassell's always been a good defender. Champagne. So these guys all can defend. SGA, for all the stuff we talk about foul baiting, he's the best 3-level scorer in the league. I mean, he makes it look easy at times. And they had this dude in hell. Like in hell, they had him locked up. Now they loaded everything up on him and stuff, but it wasn't even like he was just getting past Castle or those guys. So that's also why Brunson's numbers don't look as well, because how good the Spurs are defensively and they load up. But if he's gonna beat this as great of a team defensively and hit these shots in 4 quarters, all I'm saying, to me, maybe I'm being too in the moment, but I sit there and go, we gotta start talking about this dude, especially with him having years left. Like he could end up being one of the best point guards. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Especially, oh,
five,
sorry, go ahead.
top 10, something like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Especially we would need a little more like if he wins, especially if he wins one more championship, like I don't know that we could really argue against that. I
Definitely.
think the biggest, like a lot of people are saying like uh besides like Wemby or like what he's done so far in these playoffs, especially going into the playoffs, a lot of people thought SGA was the best player in the league.
Hmm.
Uh I think the biggest difference between SGA having trouble against the Spurs team and what Jalen Brunson is doing right now is SGA, he just does everything so repetitively, but he does it so well. He gets to that same like move where he gets to the left elbow, shoves you off with the right arm, or like maybe not like full extension, but like with the elbow at least. So then the refs don't call it as much, and then he hits that shot. Like I'm surprised when he misses that shot. He gets to that same spot on the baseline. He's worked on the side step three. He's good at the rim as long as Wemby isn't there, as most people. But I think the biggest difference and what's really been key for the Knicks compared to what OKC had to go through was Jalen Brunson just has such a variety of different moves that he has, and it's all like I talked to you about this a couple of years ago with CJ McCollum. It's non-pattern scoring. He's just reading the defense. He's reading his defender in the help. He gets to the paint. He's playing off 2 feet. He has such a variety of pivots and just overall really nice footwork where he can read you bump, hit the fadeaway jumper over off his over his left shoulder. He can go up and under and lay it in. The level of finishing on fast breaks when Wemby isn't there, he had a nice one where he was coming on a fast break and there were two Spurs back. He just finger rolled easy.
Player in the league, listen to you. Listen to you. Top 3 players. Like and I'm saying like I am being a prisoner in a moment, but at some point, you know, the point of the game is to win. You know what I mean? The point is to win. And you can't sit here and say like even like with Kyrie, like okay, well Kyrie had LeBron or whatever, because Kyrie did all the like from a scoring perspective, Kyrie looked even better doing it right than Brunson is right. I don't even know. I think that's one thing we forget for how flash like guys like Kyrie usually are not as efficient, you know, as guys like it's hard to be efficient. Like and Kyrie has never been like some of these numbers shooting percentages. Kyrie never put up. Like Kyrie would score. Like Kyrie would figure it out. But I don't think Kyrie could be the best. I don't think Kyrie and Cat could go in the series and control it like Brunson has. You know what I mean? Or hit these things like Brunson has. And at the end, he's obviously going to be a lie. He's obviously going. His weakness obviously going to be defense because we just talked about look at him. You know, and he's a bulkier dude at that size, so he's not going to move. But that's a good defensive team in the Knicks. He plays both sides of the court as well. You know, there is no like he is impacting that side of the court as well. And so yeah, I like everything you're saying. Just like you, just all the things he's been able to do, and you said SGA, and you're right. I think that's my point too. Like he's finding SGA couldn't find the answers, you know, and like you said, it's probably to his stubbornness, and I think he played bad compared to how he plays. Like there was a lot of times he blew early in that series fast break layups. I think they were like the Spurs just had the OKC's number. They was in SGA's head because uh yeah, he just didn't play well. And then I think you made a great point. Like, how many times did we see him going to his left and take away step back mid range, and he didn't even try to work too hard for it. Like you said, it's almost like all right, let me just try to do. I'm so great at this. This is what they're giving me. Let me just go do it. And obviously, statistics show a 7-game series, you're not going to shoot that at a high enough clip to win. Where Brunson they're making Brunson do that, and then in the fourth quarter, the crunch time, he's still getting to his stuff, or he's still figuring it out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're all good on giving the Knicks their credit, we can. This kind of transitions into
Really a Jalen Brunson. I really turned it into a Jalen Brunson credit. But yeah, I want to hear your Spurs criticism. I want to hear your Spurs criticism.
yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to a little more Spurs focused piece in the for the finals. I've been really disappointed pretty much all season with the Spurs and how it's so early in Wemby's career, and they just give him the ball in certain spots on the floor where, like, granted, I'm not out there guarding him, but sitting at home watching the Spurs, I'm not worried about him scoring from these spots. He's anytime they give him the ball, like late in the game in game two for the 2-for-1, they gave him the ball. on the left baseline, just a couple feet inside the 3-point line, and he was going one-on-one against Mitchell Robinson. I'm not worried about him scoring from that spot. He's not quick enough to get to the rim with that first step. He's not shifty enough. I mean, look at him. How the hell could he be shifty? He's not shifty enough with the dribble to get to the rim all that easily, especially against Cat and Mitchell Robinson, who were good enough at moving their feet and strong enough to keep Wemby in front of them. I've been really disappointed in how the Spurs are not giving Wemby the ball in spaces on the floor where he can have a real advantage. There's so many different ways that you can do this. You can use a lot more screening actions. I saw them, and granted, this is also on Wemby as well. I saw the Spurs. I think it was in Game 1 where they ran a rip screen for Wemby. And for those of you who don't know, a rip screen is just, let's say Wemby's on the left block. Someone comes in and sets a screen to allow Wemby to go from the left block to the right block and have good post position. They don't run that enough, and when they did, Wemby just drifted out way past the block and into almost free throw line extended.
Why they don't run? Michael, yeah. I honestly think so. They probably at some point, because I think what you said is spot on, and then that's the first thing I thought about is I think when they do run it, and then that's where the whole criticism of him trying to play like a guard a little too much, right? Like they run it for him, and then next thing you know, it turns into him, and he's just taking a hard. It just leads to him taking again a hard jumper type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been very disappointed in the Spurs not running enough of that, and the Spurs they've from what they were talking about. I think they talked about it in the first game on the broadcast. They mentioned that pregame they always work with Wemby on holding his spot when he comes off a screen to make sure he gets a good deep seal on his defender to get the ball in a more advantageous spot. I don't know why it's just not translating onto the court, and then they just don't run enough of it as well. So I'm very surprised that the Spurs aren't running more actions where they have whoever Jalen Brunson is guarding. Usually it's Champagnie. Champagnie should be setting way more screens for Wemby to get him the ball in spots where he can just take one dribble and he's already at the rim. Or he's a lot better. Wemby's pretty good at shooting like a mid range when he's right on the elbow or right on the nail. He's pretty good at that. But there's just not enough of a focus on Wemby and the Spurs coaching staff of getting him the ball in spots on the floor where he can really take advantage of the Knicks defense. So I'd like to see more actions where Wemby's in the corner and Champagnie comes in, or whoever Brunson is guarding comes in and sets him almost like a down screen so that he can get downhill and get to the rim. Or even if they run a lot of that, you can call it like V action or pinch screen or whatever, where the ball handler is coming up just past half court, and then two people run in. Usually it's Wemby and Champagnie, just Wemby and a shooter. They'll both set a screen and then let the guard choose which way they go. Even if Wemby is rolling and he's not open on the roll for a lob, you can kick the ball back out, and Wemby can just turn around, seal, and he's already in good position right there. There's just not enough focus on getting the ball to Wemby in spots where he can really take advantage of the defense. And if you look at a big difference in this series, the Knicks get everybody the ball in spots where they can really take advantage of the defense, whether it's catch and shoot, whether it's Brunson getting himself to whatever spot he needs to, or making sure that they bring Wemby into the action. There's such a focus, and this is such a big dichotomy in the series, and a big reason why I feel like the Spurs are down 2-0. There's such a big difference in this series on when you see the Knicks are just so focused and so intentional with their offense, and the Spurs is just almost like lollygagging, like, okay, this is generally what we want to do, but there's just no purpose. There's no emphasis on being in the right spots exactly on the floor where you want to get the ball. And I feel like that's a big reason. And even despite all that, the Spurs had a chance to win both games late. So yeah, I'm. I'll step off my soapbox here, and I'll let you react to what I just said.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think for the that like all year, I think it makes sense for most of the regular season, even the playoffs, because I think there's just again Wemby being someone that we ever never seen before. This is the biggest potential in the world, uh, and he lived up to it so far, type of thing. So I do see like when it comes to his development, because again he's in the finals, but he's still so young, right? He has so many years to get better. For his development, I think it makes sense. Like I could see them saying we want to put the ball in his hands up top. We want him to bring up the ball. We want to be because 3, 4, 5 years from now, he's going to get better at it, and I can see him right. And as he gets better than that, oh my God, what is this dude not going to be able to do? So I see it makes sense. But again, like we just talked about, or I say in who cares about the numbers in the finals? Brunson's making. You just got to win 4 games. Same thing here. Who cares about Wemby's development? You got to the finals. You got to find a way to win these 4 games. And I agree with you. He has the ball up top way too. There's times where it almost looks like Castle and Fox. I don't know if they ever give a rebound get to them, but they're cool. Like they see it, and I mean, it ended up costing them the game 2, right? Like Castle, oh, we gonna pass, he's gonna pass it to me, but oh no, Wemby takes it, like Wemby catching the ball and rebounding and pushing it and being the guy with the ball in his hand is normal for them. And if you see Mitch Johnson was like, let's go. So Castle and Fox at times are, yeah, they're cool with it. Uh, so I do agree it's way too much. And for how at times he does it and he could do it well and he does it better. Like he does it in a way no one else has ever done. Because if he does drive by, now he's 2 steps and no one can get in his way, or he's able to see over everybody and make a pass. Like he's still skilled enough. Um, it still is very awkward at times, like you said. It's not the best part of his game. Like you said, he can dribble, and again, he can grab the ball and dribble and bring it up. But we're talking about a final series. You're trying to maximize every possession. Like you said, you're trying to get guys in the best. You're trying to get the best shot you can every possession. Uh, it's 1 or 2 dribbles, like you said, the rip screen, that's where he can get, especially if you get to lane. He's like that's that unstoppable aspect. Like, what can you do? You're gonna foul, or you just gotta hope he misses, type of thing. Because what we talked about 2 game 1, remember I texted you, it was very clear as soon as he drove from anywhere like that, like away from the paint, top of the key or somewhere, he's gonna have to put the ball on the floor. They took off on him. Like those guys that were on the wing, like they gambled and it was fine because they got it most of the time. I mean, like Brunson, Hart, like they took off, left the shooters in because yeah, I mean there's still these cons to you being 7'5", right? Like the bill, you're not low to the ground. Your dribble can't be that tight. You got guys swarming you. They get hands on it easier. So I agree with you. I think that's a great point. I didn't even think about that specifically because more so people have had criticism on Wemby, right? Like more so people have looked at Wemby and saying, because like you said, sometimes they do run it for him to get a paint touch and he doesn't want to back down at all. And again, he can't, he said his build, he's not going to look like Yao Ming. His body's just never going to look like that, the strength wise, but he should back down more. I even think it'd help his shot more. He can shoot. He's got great touch naturally, but I think when you get in a rhythm like that, back down and you can like Cat does, like which he does, and get a rhythm, it's more of a rhythm shot, and no one's gonna get to that. Like they all talk like, or if you look back, the Dream, Halim, Keem Olajuwon, right? Like he was right doing that in the footwork and the fadeaway. Like no one's gonna get to it. Where you face up, that guy's hand is right in your face. You know what I'm saying? So you even see that like last shot like Mitch Robinson, it was a good look, but Mitch Robinson could affect it a little more if you just do a little push off and get away. So I think Wemby's got to do it more and back down. Even if you're not strong enough, something like you're gonna get to where you got to get. Like people would say, can you get a sky hook going? Because even at times, like how many times has he gotten to a bad spot, just threw the ball off the backward, like a terrible back,
Yeah, yeah,
and he gets in dunks, and everyone goes, "Oh wow!" And it's again, you got to win the game, and he's doing it, and he's skilled and coordinated enough to make it happen. But those are bad offensive possessions that get turned, and then you get into the finals or a playoff series where they're not letting you do that. Josh Hart is coming and he's getting his hand on the ball, you know what I mean? Or they're not letting you just throw it off. They're keying in on that stuff. It turns into too many bad looks for him. And like you said, I don't think he should have the ball in his hand as much as he does. Yeah, I agree with you, especially in those situations. So I think that is, and I would hope they change it up for them to have a shot because yeah, it just leads to a series like this where it's gonna go. It seems like it's gonna go down to wire every game, and hopefully it does. Like every possession matters, right? And you're just getting too many turnovers. You're getting that, and now it's affecting him. Like it's affecting him, and he's pressing. But the one thing I will say again, then he does things where you understand why. Like then he
Yeah.
does things nobody else has ever done stuff because that dude has hit some cold blooded threes, Jack. Like he has hit some like he shouldn't be hitting at his age. At his like it's like Luca. Like Luca would hit some shots when he was young over Kawhi and Paul George, like in the bubble. That was like, whoa, this white boy is cold. Like and like Wemby has done that. He hit a three it was like when they were down 12 or something, Knicks went and they bring it to 9. And I was like, that is cold. Like it was a hard like that. Sometimes people don't realize that's such a clutch shot too. You know, like
Yeah.
everything's going against you, and you just pull up from like 28 feet. So I think it's that hard. It's like you gotta. We have the 7'5" alien. I try to not use alien, man, in this political landscape. I think
Yeah,
so
good point.
I try not to. But you have this alien dude and you want to maximize everything you can do. But I agree with you. It's the finals. You're down 0-2. This isn't working as much. We got to at times. Okay, he's not the best player in the world right now. You know, he's not. And we got to get the ball back in guys that can handle it more. Like you said, just get him touches where he needs it. Because if he grabs a rebound and go, that's obviously told. You have to be able to do that in the modern NBA, and that's the biggest thing of being able to have a big that can catch it and go, and it puts you in good transition. But in the half court, yeah, he should not be having the ball on that. Outside of a couple of possessions here and there, or outside the flow of the offense, but something scripted, yeah, I don't like. There's no reason why you get a rebound or whatever and you don't get a transition. It doesn't turn into a transition possession. At some point, that ball should be given to Fox or like they go
Yeah.
into a dribble handoff or real quick, or just have like a 4 and 5 pick and roll, even or a 1 and 5. Like now, Castle or them set the pick and let him not have to just take off on the create by himself totally off the dribble. It's a pick and roll. He could come off it now, make a decision. Yeah. So so far your Spurs criticism is valid. Your Spurs
Yeah.
criticism.
I think two or three things. The second kind of leads into the third, but I think the point you made is very is like it's such a good one. You have to take Wemby as he is right now in this moment because the finals are just not guaranteed going on in the future. Especially how the league has been in the past several years. What no repeat champions this year as well. It's going to be what the seventh year with no repeat champions. Yeah, you have to take Wemby as he is right now to maximize your potential right now. It doesn't make sense to try to develop Wemby for what you can already do right now. You're in the finals. You have a chance to win the finals. You have to maximize that right now. And yeah, I definitely don't feel like they're maximizing that. Kind of. So you had talked about how that Wemby shot at the end was a good look. And granted, like any like
Let me
semi open shot.
let me. Yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
were about to say that. Like, there's so many times we get the end of game or end of shot clock and people go, "Oh, that was a good look," and it was like, not really. But it was a shot you were able to get off. Like at the end of games, I feel people use that word too much. So I think I got caught up in that because, uh, like a lot of people said, but I think it's on Wemby. Like I don't think that was supposed to be a pick and. I think that was supposed to be this is NBA. This is the highest level of basketball. You got to be able to read things in moments like that. So I'm pretty sure it was a pick and roll, and then Wemby can make the decision. He should have. Uh, okay, let me ask you this, Michael, because you're the better X's and O guy. Why was Castle on the side of where Wemby was coming off for the pick and roll? Because Hart stunted a little bit, but he didn't stunt that hard, which I think would. is because Wemby didn't go. But I sit there and go, if Wemby would have rolled a little harder, Hart's gonna stunt like crazy. Even when Mitch Robinson, or not even stunt, just help. Even when Mitch Robinson in not a bad position, you can't just give up a lob to in that situation. Like that dude can go get it no matter what. Like shit. The truth is, they should have just ran him to the thing and threw a lob and got a foul or something. You know.
Yeah.
But and he probably would have helped a lot because it was Castle and Harper was on the floor and Vassell was on the floor. I know there was a reason for it. I know Castle isn't like isn't Andre Roberson or something like that, but why was because if you watch it, because that's why I also said Wemby should have. Because if Wemby cuts hard, I think Hart has to, and he gets
Yeah.
double basically whether he had the ball or not. And then you just kick in the corner, and then you take the Castle three no matter what. But I just sit there and go, if you put Harper or Vassell there, you would have put. And this is all hypothetical now because it didn't even come to that. But doesn't Hart have to cut? Like he probably stunts and then comes back, and then Wemby's got more of a get into the rim, just 1-on-1 with Mitchell Robinson trying to win it. Or if Hart sells out, he kicks it to Vassell or he kicks it to Harper. So did you catch that? I didn't get what was the point of Castle being in that corner because isn't that always supposed to be the best shooter in a way? Because you make that guy have to decide if he's going to help or not.
Yeah. So to kind of, I will get to that. That's
Oh,
because that's a very very interesting point. So before the play, I was like kind of I was watching the game with my cousin, and I was like, I don't know. Like I feel like maybe you just go to like the like double drag where it's like usually it's Castle handling the ball, and then there's like a shooter in Wemby that set like two screens like near the top of the arc, and then Castle just comes off. Wemby rolls, and then Champagny is usually Champagny pops. I was like, that's I don't know. Do you run that? Or I was like, you know what? Nah, like the Spurs are gonna come up with something way more creative. Like they have to. And what do? They come out with just Fox and Wemby pick and pop. I was pretty
yeah,
disappointed in. And for the Castle point, I think I think simply put, I think they just put Castle there because you just have to put Castle on the floor and like I
okay,
think it
no,
was
but
more
that
so.
that reminds me of a good like, and then you're right because I'm sitting there going, where else? And while I'm watching the play over, I'm saying where Harper was in the dunker spot, and I still don't like. I'm not saying that's a bad spot for Harper. It just seems so like there has to be a reason. Like there has to be. I'm not. You might be smarter than them, but I'm not. Like I just not, especially ex basketball experts. But I just like why would like Harper being the shooter in the corner and Castle being the dunker spot makes so much more sense to me. Like that dude Castle is a great offensive rebounder. That dude has hops. That dude will finish through contact. That dude will go through contact. Like that dude is like to use it. That dude is a dog. Like that dude is a fucking baller. Like he's a player. He's tough as nails. Harper is too. Like Harper's got a lot of shit on. I like Harper, but so what? But Harper's the better shooter. Castle's the more gritty offensive rebounder. And then I think how they thought the matchups were gonna go made some sense. But it just because what wouldn't Cat? Do you not agree that like you're saying Castle's got to be somewhere? Do you think Harper being the dunker spot makes more sense than Castle being there? Like, is there something you could think of or?
So I think the way that Fox came off of the pick and roll, and he didn't even really look like he was looking to attack.
Yeah.
He just immediately just like kind of pitched it back. I think to the Spurs it didn't really matter, which is if
Which
and
goes to your
I'm just over
first
here
point.
guessing.
No, you're right.
Go ahead.
Which goes to your first point because, like you said about the play, that's what I felt too. Like it's like all they wanted to do was get Wemby the ball and let him take the last shot no matter what. Which okay, that's fine. But Wemby is not the best offensive player in the world right now. Like, and I think we're kind of criticizing when I think we both think the dude's amazing. What he's done
Yeah.
is amazing. But like, yeah, he's not the best player. And he's not even again. He's not what Jalen Brunson is offensively. Like you just see that at the end of the game. So I agree. Like let Fox and Wemby go in the pick and roll. Let Harper and Wemby go in. Like, you have to get Wemby in action. Like, Wemby has to be an option. But let, like, Fox and Harper going and getting their own shot. Yeah, and I know Fox has struggled, but still, it's still going to get you. Again, this is not a whole. This is the last play to win you a game. You can't just sell out unless you're gonna just throw a lob, like do everything you can for him to go to the rim. You can't sell out that you were just gonna go to Wemby. I mean, and it showed. He didn't really know what to do up there. He wanted to just he kind of hit the lane and stopped. It wasn't even a true pick and pop, which probably would have been better because would have been a deeper shot. Maybe he didn't want to take a three. Maybe he wanted mid range, but he would have had more space between him and Mitchell Robinson, right? But he just got caught in no man's land. He
Yeah.
got, like you said, Fox kind of just came off and then threw it to him. They only got like 2 seconds left. He faces up because he's not a dude that, again, is just this instinctual catch the ball, 1-2 pull up. Like, he's just not. He has moments, but in that, this isn't that type of moment. Like, to get the ball in this moment and make something happen, like, those are the elite scorers. He's not an elite scorer. So I agree. Like, get Wemby in the evolve with the play, but you got guys that can go get a bucket, especially off the dribble, more than Wemby can. Like, I would trust that. I think the Harper dude has made a lot of young mistakes. Like, he is like the young guy on the Spurs. They're all young, but like Castle is so mature. I mean, when Castle's turning, Vassell is mature. Even Keldon Johnson, like Harper is the guy you look on. Oh yeah, that's the young rookie, right? Like that's the dude that gets caught up in the moment, tries to do too much. But I would feel confident with that guy going and trying to get his own shot. So yeah, I think overall that whole play was bad. The only thing I sit there and go is they were like, Wemby, if you get space, cut to the rim, and now we get you going to the rim. And but I agree. The way Fox came off, and then they were also like they all like gave Cat Wemby dap. And I guess this is another thing. Are the Spurs getting caught up with the whole Wemby on it thing? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. I'm not saying obviously that's your teammate. You're down 0-2. It's not like he did something wrong. He missed a tough shot. You're gonna get a lot, but everyone's all running to him. Like, I think this that last play. I think you're right, and just what you said the first time. It's like we got to get the ball. When he's got to lead the offense. He's got to do all this. We're gonna bring up this last shot to win the game two. A must win, right? It's not a must win, but it's a must win. And all we're gonna try to do is give him the ball. Like, we're not even trying to make it this amazing situation. Just give him the ball. I think they're getting too caught up. Like the first two things you brought up, I think they're getting too caught up, and you can't be doing that in the finals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot be doing that in the finals.
No, yeah. To your point, how Wemby caught that in no man's land. If you if I don't, and granted, I don't have the percentages right in front of me. If Wemby is shooting at the elbow, I have pretty good confidence that he's going to make it. Even if he's shooting an open three, I'm.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the percentages on open catch and shoot threes, he's actually shooting a pretty good percentage in the series and in the playoffs. He caught it like several feet behind the elbow,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it's just stuff like that where there's just like Fox just catches the ball when he just runs over, sets a screen. There wasn't it didn't look like there was any intentionality on where they wanted to start the action and where they wanted Wemby to catch the ball. So, and just off of that, him catching the ball a couple feet behind the elbow rather than right on the elbow or just popping and hitting a three, like nobody practices that shot. Nobody practices
Yeah.
shooting like
It was
three,
an
4
awkward
feet behind
spot.
the
It
elbow.
was. It was
Yeah.
when he shot it. It had no shot. Like, and
No,
I
yeah.
know it could have went in, but I saw it like because you said how the whole play looked, and I think what we're both getting to is you didn't really make the Knicks guard nothing. Like, you didn't
Yes.
make it hard on the Knicks, and like in that 3 minutes or what? No, it's probably less than whatever time I was, minute and a half. Like, you were going through 15 different fucking situations. Like, that's it's the league. Like, you got all these things and all that. If this guy's here, and I think people don't realize how much they're processing, how X and O's it gets, especially those moments, and how you got to read and react. So they're going all through those things, and they didn't have to. A lot of times you could use that against them on your last plays. You can see guys do that all the time, right? They use a guy that usually doesn't set a pick or the decoy or the Draymond fake handoff, right? Like, where, okay, if Curry's coming off or Clay, you have to double them. And they didn't do none of that. and it just made a good defensive team. Mitchell Robinson, OG, Josh Hart. Like I said, Hart stayed in the corner because Wemby never made him. He's a good enough defender. He wasn't going to overreact, and Wemby never made him. And again, Wemby caught the ball. Castle was guarding the corner. Mitchell Robinson was in no man's land, so Mitchell Robinson recovered and he put his hand up. And yeah, it was a bad possession. What have people said about it? By the way, I haven't has it been ran through the mud or people?
No, I think so. From what I've seen, generally people are just saying, "Oh yeah, it's a good look," which and granted, I've listened to like a couple like people talk about it like on like a random like live streams after the game and whatnot. But yeah, just like for me personally, especially with that context of just Wemby like roaming around and not really having that intentionality of where he was on the floor. As soon as I saw him shoot it a couple feet behind the elbow, I was like, oh yeah, forget this. Like
Yeah, I
this
agree.
yeah. But anywho, so yeah. Well, the first two games happened. There's nothing you can do about it now. For you, Ollie, just kind of like trying to get into the mind of a coach. How do you go into these next two games in Madison Square Garden? You're only guaranteed two more games at this point.
Yeah.
You're going into a hostile environment. How do you try to galvanize your team? And granted, like it's not looking good right now, but they can't be saying that in the locker room. How would you try to have your team's mindset looking like going into these next couple of games?
Yeah, I think with the Spurs team, it's gonna be easy. I think with Miss Johnson, it's gonna be easy too because damn, I didn't know that dude gets that fired up. Like he is one of the more demonstrative. Udoka is more demonstrative, but that's because he be cussing out players and refs and wanting to fight his own team all the time. But
His own team, the other players,
yeah,
everybody.
he's crazy, bro. I think that
Yeah,
dude's actually gonna swing on someone during like Udoka's crazy, and he looks like he whoops his ass. Um, I got did you the we never the one with him and Braun was crazy
yeah.
when he called him a
I was
bitch
very yeah
and
yeah he
Braun
did
was like, "Yo, man, we're grown men." Like Braun just came up like, "We don't use you don't throw that word," which is true. And I think people hate Braun, and I understand it, but I don't think people give Braun enough credit for how he handles those situations. Like
yeah
he don't overreact. He don't like he. I know he flops and he overreacts sometimes when he flops and the refs, but again, that's the league now. That's everybody. But people don't give Braun that, and I thought he just handled it the right way. Like Brian and Udoka was like, "What the fuck you gonna do about it, pussy?" And I was like, "What in the
yeah
world?" Like you a bitch. Like I was like, "This dude really wanted to fight Braun, right then and there." Like he didn't even. Well, he kind of smirked, but wasn't even trying to make a joke. It was like, "Let's, yeah, we could do something." So
yeah
Udoka's crazy, but Miss Johnson, he gets so fucking demonstrative, dude, but in a good way. And I think that's just coaching. I think that's playing to what his team is a emotional, fiery, passionate team. And like I said, I always, I didn't watch that much of the Spurs this regular season. I thought the hype was a little too much because how young they were. I was like, it's just they're gonna lose around. If Timberwolves, I think they beat Timberwolves if they were healthy. But I sat there and go, oh, if Timberwolves were healthy, they would have beat them. That's what I think before this OKC series. Because this OKC series, even with them not being healthy, to go and win the games they did in the game sevens and how they won stuff, that is a great team. But he plays off that, like he plays off their energy, that fire. He's got Carter Bryant crying, and then he puts them in again. It's just. So I think it's easy for them. I think you do play that. Hey, like you said, the two games happened, fellas. We weren't even supposed to be here. You play all the clips of we're supposed to be six, or when guys would say, well, yeah, they're good, and in the middle of the season, but Wemby's hurt and they're young and this and that. It's gonna be the first playoff run, and you just showed how you defied the odds because they truly believe they're the best team in the league. Now, I think they might, sometimes reality hits now, or they. So I think you got to keep that belief. Or are you starting to realize, like you just see it in Wemby's face, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like the how frustrated he was game two, that turnover, all that. Like you see, reality sometimes like are we too young? It starts creeping in. So I think you got to keep that belief, you gotta keep that and we're playing with house money a little bit because that's how they play and that's when they play their best. And then I think you really got to get up for the moment, Madison Square Garden. I think you got to really sell how amazing of this atmosphere this is going to be, how great it's going to be, how historical it's going to be. And fuck, we're down 0-2 and we get to flip it. Like, you know what I mean? We get to make history. Like, okay, and then now we went down 0-2 and we're the favorites and all that. What really kills them, Michael, from a coaching perspective, which I would hate, they still keep being the favorites. Like they're only a 1.5 underdog to, which is insane. And I guess everyone thinks in Vegas thinks they're too good to get swept. Like, cause that's really what that number tells you is like, no, we still think like they're down 0-2. They're gonna go into on the road. We can't make them favorites, but we basically said that it's a pickup. It's gonna be 50-50. It's 50-50 game. And I think that's what, so they can't be looking at that. Like you gotta have this little like our backs are against the wall type of thing, but like this is who we are. Like this is what we thrive on. This is like you know what I mean. This is the. I mean they just played in OKC is a great environment, right? So they just played a game 7 in OKC and punched the. I'm telling you, like people hated OKC, and I understand why, but I loved them. And you said from coach, dude, the way they fucking played defense for the last 2 years, how hard they played, how they got every loose ball, how they were diving on the fly, and all of those guys did it. Even SGA did it at times, and he was the one dude in the league that probably could say, "I'm not diving on the floor" and get away with it. How all well, Bron's been able to do that for the last 15 years, but yeah, so I think you got to keep that, and I think you play with a fire, and I think you have to make those X and O's adjustments. But as much as I sit there and go, you got to calm it down, you got to don't get being reckless. I think you got to actually you make the adjustments and you try to execute. But I think you get them guys to play even more fired up than they ever have. Because like what flipped that OKC series? Like yeah, they won game 1, but then they lost game 2, and I want to say it was game 3. It's 1-1 now, and I think OKC really handled game 2 in a way. Did okay? Wait, OKC went up 2-1
They went up 2-1. Yeah, they won the first game in
in
in San
OKC.
Antonio.
But you remember how San Antonio came out and they went up 15-0, and then they ended up losing, and like those are gut punches.
Yeah,
Those are like the Cavs losing against the Knicks game 1. And then again, you look at a young team like that's supposed to knock you out. And then the very next game they came out and they did the same thing in the first quarter. Like they just didn't care. Like they're too young to understand that, type of thing. And so I think you just keep that. So I think the biggest thing, I don't think it's gonna be hard because I think it's who they are and their identity. But I think you just gotta be like, fellas, we live for this. Like this is our moment. Like this. Shoot, I almost think like shit. I'd rather be down 0-2 going into you're fucking lying, but you're trying to rile it up. Like shit, I almost be down 0-2, and everyone is about the Knicks now. Like you're saying, like media guys or guys talking about ball are talking about X's and O's and just Spurs haven't played one. But the general NBA fan, and it's the finals, the general person watching the game now, or the guy that just kind of likes basketball but watching finals, or a guy or girl, like everything's about the Knicks. Everything the Knicks are gonna win the series. New York is back. Look at New York after every like New York. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing. They got the SWAT team out there for their own watch parties. It's $1 million to get into a game. Donald Trump's gonna be there. You got to come 2 hours before. All that shit, like all that's on New York. The Spurs have become, unless you're a basketball dude, afterthought a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that. You're the Wembyana and the Spurs are the biggest thing. The alien. Um, Again, they were 7 point favorites. Like they won. They were playing game 7. New York's at home to start the series, it seemed like everyone outside of New York didn't give a shit about the Knicks really. Like it was the Spurs are the better team and stuff. And that's my like, fellas, this is better for us. Like now it's it's the Knicks. Everyone's ready for New York to party. Donald Trump's ready for your fucking president's ready to go party. All that stuff. Like everyone's ready to go do this stuff, and you kind of live for that moment. And I think it's easy for them. Like, and this is where being young. This isn't a veteran team. This isn't a team that has already been like they're young, they have that fire. So that's how I would, man. I think like we
yeah,
go in there and like it's again you have to make those adjustments, or you can't have. Wemby bringing up the ball, but it's that pro and con of coaching. Like there's a but shit, Wemby, you take that first open three, you let it fucking rip. Dylan Harper, you keep going to the hole. You know what I mean? You keep and so I think it's weird. I think you have to make those adjustments. But I think sports. I think when you coach and when you try to get too much into the X's O's, you realize it's 50% X's and O's or 60, but then it's 40, 50 that other stuff, man. And who wants it more, even at this level, And so I think you gotta, yeah. I think like you cannot get beat for a loose ball. You cannot, that shit cannot happen. And you go at guys, fuck it, you go at Cat. You try, fellas, he's soft. They're not gonna say these things out like, fellas. Yeah, he had 2 games against you. Wemby, the next time he does, man, lay him on his ass. Like that dude's soft. So that's in a real like that's if I was in the meetings, if I was at practice, if I was at the locker room, that's exactly
Yeah. Yeah, I think two things going off that. One, in the time since our last time recording a pod, I feel like I've gained such like a bigger appreciation for all the nuances of coaching and just like team dynamics. I've spent a lot of time. I don't know if I'm ashamed to say this, but I've spent like a lot of time listening to like some of the top coaches, like just in general, like their press conferences and like the things that they emphasize and the things that they're really focused on. Uh, One of the things I picked up on was process over results. And
yeah,
another thing is it's not always just about X's and O's. It's about how you can really get your team up to play
yeah,
for each and every game. And kind of going into my second point, how you said just to kind of like embrace the environment. That reminds me of when I was watching this. You know how like this is like college football related, but like the Oregon Ducks, they put out these like almost like cinematic
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. And I was watching the one that they did for the Penn State game, and it was like one of the like craziest things I've ever heard. Like I was like, oh, I love hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Lanning, before the team went out to the tunnel to like run out onto the field pregame, he said, "It's a whiteout out there. We're gonna treat that like a canvas, and we're gonna paint our masterpiece."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that was so dope."
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of reminding me of that, like from one great coach to another. You know what I'm saying?
Who's the
From you
other
to
great coach? Who's the other great
I'm talking about you
coach?
and Dan Lanning, my guy.
Yeah, no, that you can't. Shit, Dan Lannon might sue you for comparing me to him. But yeah, no, I think you're right, and you do that, and I think it's like they're gonna make their at that level, like even Division 1 school, I mean, even high level high school, like you gotta be able to do both, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta be able to be great X and O's wise, have a team, and then you gotta be able to be great motivation wise, and everyone has their pros and cons. But yeah, you gotta. I mean, and especially like these games. I mean, how many come down to lose? Like that's why I say NBA is in a good place. Like people, the old school stuff, that is a physical. I mean, it's physical out there. Like
Yeah.
guys are falling every play. Like they are letting people play. They're getting hit. They're doing all that. Like it is physical, and it comes down to who is in both these games have. Like again, that's why like the whole Jalen Brunson thing. Not only is he scoring and doing it like that, he went up and beat Devin Vassell to the ball. And
Hmm.
he physically can't do that, so he finds a way and he Mario punches the ball. So yeah, you're trying to get that out of your team. And like I would, if you were asking me, and they would never say this publicly, right? But I would really be playing the fuck New York kind of thing. Like, because the eyes of the basketball and the eyes of the sports world is on New York and how great, and it is. I mean, that's you watch like them dudes are wild. Like that shit, like they are so funny. Like all like it, and like New York is gonna go insane. New York's gonna do that. Like again, I keep bringing up the president, not for making any political, but like it is the biggest. Like that game, how much there is 2 hours you got to get there before the game. I don't know if you saw that because he's going
Oh,
there.
I didn't see
So
that.
like
No.
that whole day, tomorrow is going to be about the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're not into basketball, now that guy's going there, security wise, how are guys going in there, all that. So it's everything's about fucking New York. And I'd be like, man, and I don't know if they get put, but fuck these soft, you know what I mean? Something like that. Now I don't know if you call New Yorkers soft, But I would really play that up. And you got the Texas aspect. Like we're different, type of thing. And I think, man, I don't even think they're gonna be rattled. I'm not saying that they're gonna win. I- There's a little bit rattled that they are gonna be like any guy, like where you're not rattled, but it still affects your play. Like Braun doesn't get rattled. Kawhi doesn't get rattled, but still that momentum, the crowd, being on the road, it affects your play. I don't think they're going to be like it might affect their play some being so young on the road. To say I don't think they're going to be rattled at all. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to be fired up, whether they win or not, whether they start hot or not. I think it'll be fine. But I think that's what you do as a coaching staff. You make your adjustments, but you almost like you make your adjustments early, which they have to do. Again, it's the league. They're making adjustments as soon as as soon as the game's over, right? Whatever their support coaching staff, all the numbers, you make it. And then that last piece is just about that, man. Like you just got to go out there and like let your nuts hang some, which they're doing. You know what I mean? Which they've been doing, and you just got to do it. And yeah, I think the Spurs win the next game. Actually, I think the Knicks win the series. For as much as I've been like, Brunson and what you said about the Spurs, and like I said, I think they get caught. I think the Spurs win the next game. I do. What do you say?
I don't know, man. I really hope that the Spurs win the next game, but I'm 50-50. I can't call it either way. If I like water gun to my head, I'd probably say Spurs,
Hmm.
but like I don't have a lot of like conviction behind that pick.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because, like I even said, Knicks should be bigger favorites than they are because the Knicks are playing better basketball. And
Yeah.
this is called the Dad and Roll podcast. So after this point, Michael, I think we have to cut it off. Because I gotta get back to. I hear the crying too. So you
Yeah.
talk from there. But and I think it's really the De'Aaron Fox thing, and I think he's played really well on the defensive side of the floor. But you got to, scoring still matters, and you got to score to win the game, right? And they don't have a second scorer, and their first scorer isn't even a real scorer. He's just a 7'5" talent. You know what I mean? He does what he does because I think that's what you've really seen pop up. Like you said, their offense is just like, and with De'Aaron, like who's their next best natural scorer? I would say Harper, right? Or Champagny knocking down everything that comes to him. Like those are what you have.
Yeah,
And
especially off the dribble, Harper, and then Champagne. You can't really rely on him too much because he's getting a lot of his out of catch and shoot. But yeah, like Castle, nobody closes out to him hard. Fox, for whatever reason, like normally he's pretty automatic with that little jump shot around like the dotted line. For whatever reason, he just can't really hit that in this series. Vassell is pretty much just catch and shoot. So
so do
yeah,
you
it's
go do
that's
you
tough.
go more Keldon Johnson? But his game's
That's
turned
tough.
around too. In the playoffs, he hasn't been able to do what he's kind of done all year. I don't know if you noticed
Yeah,
that. Except when they went at Chet, because everyone just went at Chet. They was bullying
yeah.
Chet. Uh, like, and because I think he's gotten a quick hook because of defensive mistakes. I don't know if you start getting a little bit. You're not trying to miss a three, or you're not trying to go off the dribble now and make it if you already getting a quick hook. So yeah, who can be their second scorer. Because I trust Castle getting the bucket more than I trust Fox right now. Because you're right, he can't he doesn't he's not a good enough he's not that good of a shooter, but he lets it fly. Like I really like Castleman because he sits there and he goes, I'm not gonna let you just sag off me. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna be a liability. I'm gonna shoot and then I'm gonna drive to the rim and I'm a body. Like he's really good at getting to the rim. And he doesn't even have to blow by guys, and then he uses off the bank, or he just finds ways to get offensive rebounds and get putbacks and get to the line. So I trust Castle even more, but I think that's the hard. Like if they go into New York, and yeah, they can't just get turnovers or can't get stops and run. Like I think that's when it turns into like if Fox isn't having the Fox type game offensively, if Wemby's kind of having, again they're playing defense on unwhelming. Like how do they score? Because they didn't even get to 100 game one, correct?
No, it was the final score was what 105-95. Yeah.
Yeah, and they barely got game two. So I really think, how do you, and like you said, the offense adjustments, because they're gonna have to X and O's it up some. Again, that's the pro and con. Like the don't think too much X and O, because you need your guys to come fired up and just let them. But then also you're gonna have to have answers. Like you need to have coaching answers and X and O answers, because I don't. Unless Knicks just turn over the ball or they just shoot the lights out, I don't think the Spurs can just run up and down the court and put 115 up or put enough that needs to go. They're gonna have to find ways. So yeah, and then Mitch Johnson is so young too. Right, I think that's the other thing too. Like it's a learning
Yeah.
environment for him as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we've said a lot about the finals. You want to leave our other segment for next time, or you want to do it real quick right now?
Oh, next time I have to. Dad and roll. They
Okay.
gonna kick me out the
Yeah.
game. But,
Yeah. No.
yeah,
Yeah. Me
they gonna
too.
take me out the game.
So yeah, this is a yeah. So yeah, thanks Ali for hopping on. This has been fun. Next time, this is a little teaser for y'all. I'm coining this the what, what we call it, blow it up or build it up. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll preview that for next week. But yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. This is the Dad and Roll podcast. Thanks Ali, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir. I'll bet. I'll text you. Start game 3. Tell you my prediction might flip. So we'll
Oh
see.
no, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
All right, man.
All right.
Peace.